I've been running a software development company for the past 3.5 years. Technology has never been more confusing to add to your business. And right now, if you're wondering how can you get started with AI, this is a very short guide on how to automate your first task with AI. And basically, this is also focused on giving you back more time, or you or somebody on your team who's stretched too thin, so you guys can output more while not being completely overworked. So really, to automate your first task, it's not that complicated actually. The major thing is you want to understand what is the use case that you are trying to do with AI. And so what I would encourage you to do is, okay, so figure out firstly which task you want to automate, and that's going to come from understanding where your time is going. So where are you and your team spending your hours right now? Pick a task which does not require human personality to it. So I think it's important that we don't necessarily sacrifice our personalities and our ideas, because that's where originality comes from. But at the same time, AI can help you format ideas. It can act as a very powerful search function. So for example, if you want video titles, it can search a database of 10,000 high-performing video titles and find the most relevant ones. That's something that we actually built as an internal use case, and we're starting to use now. And so you basically want to just pick one task. It doesn't massively matter which one. And then the next thing is, before you even start to actually go and build it, this isn't a technical guide or how to use like the actual automation tools, but write down how you want your interaction to flow. So for example, in our case, let's take YouTube video titles. I want an AI that finds the most relevant, high-performing video YouTube titles for a video idea that I give to it. And my video ideas are all in Notion. And so I want to click a button in Notion, talks to the AI, searches this database, and sends me a result, maybe a couple of results. And in my situation, I wanted it to give me the inspiration, so a title that it found that was relevant to the idea and very high performing, and then a title idea based on that inspiration. And I wanted 8 pairs of inspiration and ideas. And so I made that, but it's really useful to understand exactly what kind of output you want first. So have a think about, where do you interact with the AI? So for example, in my case, it's literally a button that I click, because I type out these ideas in Notion by myself. I want to come up with the ideas. I don't want to give that to AI because it's about me, it's my content. But when it comes to packaging, I don't need to be reinventing the wheel every single time. And so that's something AI can help with. Okay, I've got it in Notion. I don't want to be adding more complexity to my workflow. I don't want a new tool. I don't want any of that. I just want to be able to click a button. And so understanding actually the end result, begin with the end in mind. And so understanding that what that end result looks like makes it a lot easier to build toward that. And then to actually execute on the fulfillment of this, I used a tool called N8N, but there's a series of different tools that you can use. Now, I'm not going to make N8N tutorials specifically, because I think it totally depends on kind of what you're building. But if somebody has a particular question on how to build something with N8N, I'm happy to point them in the right direction. And maybe if there's a lot of interest, I can also make a kind of spreadsheet of great N8N tutorials to use and follow. But it's surprisingly simple to build that setup that basically solved this task in particular, where we created a custom AI agent to look for YouTube titles. Took me about 2 to 4 hours, something like that. So it was a really small fix, but it helps us have way better titles, because we're just using what's already been working, and we're searching from a pretty large data set. We're developing that data set as we speak, while still retaining that originality, right? Which is, I don't want to hand off idea generation to ChatGPT, because that's going to basically have me blend in with the rest of the crowd completely. And I want to still convey my ideas across. That's really important. It can be really easy to set up that first automation, but it's just important that you get the task right, and you also figure out what it looks like. How do you want your problem to be solved? Is it in a button? Is it a chat interface? Is it a data dashboard? There's all kinds of different ways to do things. Anyway, we're helping businesses figure out kind of how to make that first roadmap actually for free right now. So there's a link in the description if you're curious. But otherwise, leave any questions, and I hope it was useful.